The first time I saw him fight, I knew this guy was going to be special. 100%. I knew he was going to be special. There was a stage where he didn't fight for like 2 years or something. And listen, he speaks a lot more than he fights. I can tell you that much too. But there was a long period of time he was calling out every single person. That just started getting annoying. He was annoying the shit out of me. He was calling out welterweights, middleweights, light heavyweights, but he wasn't fighting anyone. But there was never ever a stage where I went, this guy's overrated. No, he is as good as people think. I think he's as good as people think. I just think I'm a lot better than people think.
Dricus Du Plessis is making an audacious claim ahead of his UFC 319 defense against Khamzat Chimaev. He's going to go after the unbeaten juggernaut from the very first round.
Absolutely, I 100%. I'm going into this fight, and I'm looking for a finish from the first second to the last. And yeah, in a fight like this, the finishes are much more all around us than a fight like Strickland.
With UFC fans worldwide on the edge of their seats, the middleweight champion isn't just talking about defending his title, he's bringing the fight straight to Chimaev, refusing to play it safe. UFC 319 in Chicago, set for August 16th, promises to be a night where the outcome could redefine the middleweight division, and the reigning champion has no intention of letting the hype around Chimaev dictate the pace of this clash. Du Plessis, the first ever South African UFC champion, has been on a meteoric rise since he captured the middleweight belt in January 2024. He's defended it twice since then, defeating some of the division's most dangerous opponents, including former champions Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, and Israel Adesanya. But now he faces a different beast altogether in Chimaev, an undefeated powerhouse whose wrestling has made him a force to be reckoned with.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew he would beat guys in top of the middleweight division. And then here we are. I mean, I'm not surprised that this fight happened. I'm happy that it's here, and it's a massive fight. It's incredible. I mean, it's great that we get to see this, that nothing happened in the sense where he stayed in the division for too long, was out of his prime, me, or anything like that. Two guys that are genuinely at the best of their abilities are fighting each other, and I think that's what the sport should be about. You know, fans want to see the two best guys in the world fight, and that's what they're going to see.
Chimaev is known for his relentless pressure, suffocating wrestling, and an uncanny ability to overpower his opponents. His grappling has been the highlight of his career, and many believe this is the key to his potential reign at the top of the division. However, Du Plessis, despite being well aware of Chimaev's strengths, is determined to approach this fight on his terms. Instead of being cautious of Chimaev's wrestling, Du Plessis is ready to bring the fight to him, even if it means putting himself in danger. One of the most striking things about Du Plessis' mentality is his unwavering confidence. He's not interested in waiting for his opponent's mistakes. Instead, he's laser focused on making sure he is the one dictating the pace of the fight. For Du Plessis, the idea of relying on Chimaev's potential weaknesses, like his cardio, is simply not the game plan. His approach is straightforward. Fight as hard as possible for as long as possible, no matter what.
Special is an interesting word. What makes him special?
Yeah, he's unbeaten. He's unbeaten at the top of the sport. That makes anybody special. You know, to stay unbeaten in this game is really, really hard. And yeah, another thing that makes him special is the fact that he has this hype, and people see him as a champion, but he is not one. You know, he has it. It's he has this name, and he's not a champion. And that is special. That is something special. And he doesn't have that contender type of hype behind him. He has massive hype behind him. So that is special, and to live up and go. But I mean, that is a special guy. Khamzat Chimaev he's a brilliant fighter. If you look at his fights, the manner he's been able to beat guys, that is something special. To be able at this level to do that, it is special.
It's this relentless mindset that has earned Du Plessis the nickname Still Knocks. His finishing ability is one of the most feared in the sport. The champion's mentality is clear. He intends to chase down Chimaev, particularly in the early rounds when Chimaev's aggression is at its peak. Du Plessis believes that Chimaev's offensive style actually opens up opportunities for him to land a quick finish, and he's not going to waste time in getting there. Despite the general expectation that Chimaev will immediately look to drag the fight to the ground, Du Plessis is determined to make things uncomfortable for him. He's not intimidated by Chimaev's wrestling dominance, and in fact, he's prepared to turn the tables. Du Plessis is a seasoned fighter with plenty of experience against high-level wrestlers, and his confidence in his own skills is palpable.
This round looks like between you and Khamzat.
Absolute chaos. If you look at my thoughts, it's going to be absolute chaos. I just think, I don't see him coming in with a different game plan, and me neither. I'm going out there to attack. I'm going there to kill him. I'm not going out there to defend Khamzat's takedowns. I'm not going out there to defend. I'm going there to attack. So I think it's going to look a little bit different. I mean, if you look at the Gilbert Burns fight and the success he had with Khamzat, that's a very, very good. Even with the Usman fight, Usman was. Well, people don't just go and defend against him. He was forced. Usman was forced to defend, and he did a great job. And then he started with his offensive wrestling and showing Khamzat that he's not the only one that can wrestle in there. I think that was a big key in that fight, which made it a very close fight. And then Gilbert Burns being an absolute animal, also not being scared of Khamzat wrestling and going for it.
Du Plessis coach Morn Visser has also been vocal about their strategy heading into the fight. Visser doesn't buy into the hype surrounding Chimaev's wrestling. According to him, Chimaev is one-dimensional. While the Chechen's wrestling may be elite, Visser believes the UFC 319 challenger lacks well-rounded skills in other areas, like striking. He's been particularly vocal about Chimaev's striking game, which he considers underwhelming. Visser has made it clear that Du Plessis is ready to face Chimaev head-on in every area of the game, not just trying to avoid the takedowns.
Khamzat doesn't know what it is when people want to wrestle him. He's only facing guys who's trying to get away from his wrestling. We don't want to try to get away from his wrestling. We want to him up in his game. You can't think that you're going to beat my guy coming with one thing, and that's wrestling. That guy's one-dimensional. Have you seen me stand up? I won't even give him a pro license for his stand-up. He doesn't present any problem for us. We are the problem.
This all-in mentality is something Du Plessis has demonstrated time and again throughout his UFC career. He's never been afraid to step into dangerous situations, and his ability to adapt and thrive in different types of exchanges has made him one of the most unpredictable champions in the sport. Whether it's dealing with the precision striking of Adesanya or the relentless boxing of Strickland, Du Plessis has shown that he can rise to the occasion.
How are you envisioning the end? How does this actually play out in the 60s?
It looks incredible in training, and people are talking about, he's training with this new coach. And I'm very happy for him. He did it 5 weeks out from the fight. I've been doing this my whole life. That's what I've been doing every single camp. Fight after fight after fight. Defended my belt twice already. And I think he's going to come in there more prepared than ever. I know that feeling of fighting for your first title. I know he's going to come in there prepared. And like I said, he is a special fighter. He's incredibly good. But, jeez, I can't wait. This win for me is going to be history. I am going out there and I'm going to shock the world once again. And you're going to see the boogeyman. You're going to see him break. You're going to see him break in there. And then realize there's only one boogeyman, and that's me.
While Du Plessis is prepared to go to war with Chimaev on his terms, he also knows that Chimaev's wrestling poses a significant threat if the fight hits the ground. This has been highlighted by multiple experts, including Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, who analyzed Chimaev's ground game in detail. Johnson pointed out that Chimaev has an almost uncanny ability to neutralize his opponent's attempts to recover from takedowns, often by attacking key posts and controlling the action on the mat. Should the fight go to the ground, Du Plessis will need to be vigilant in avoiding these positions, as Chimaev's pressure and positional control could create significant problems.
He always waits right here, and this man will shoot from here. There. Look how deep that shot was. He gets all the weight. He pushes the weight that way, and it forces you to put your hands on the mat, which you have to carry his weight. Then he's also kicking out this fucking leg. So he's blocked this, but he's also kicking that leg out too. He's big for the division. He's also longer than Robert Whittaker, so he's able to do that as well. Once he ensues in the wrestling and the grappling aspect, his last thing on his mind is striking. If he gets DDP here, DDP is going to have a very, very hard time surviving.
But for Du Plessis, it's all about fighting smart and not falling into Chimaev's game. He's prepared for the worst case scenario, knowing full well that Chimaev's wrestling could dominate if allowed to control the pace. But Du Plessis is not just hoping to survive, he's planning to thrive in this environment. He's confident in his ability to stand up and recover, using his strength, movement, and unique style to cause problems for Chimaev on the mat.
Do you think he's going to be able to stop your takedown?
If Robert took him down, Tyrant will scramble and take over, and he took him down as well. I'm a wrestler in MMA, like one of the best wrestlers in MMA. How it's not possible to take this guy down?
Former rival Sean Strickland, who faced Du Plessis in a hard-fought battle earlier in his reign, has also weighed in on the matchup, giving some insight into the challenges Du Plessis will face against Chimaev. Strickland praised Du Plessis' toughness, but warned that Chimaev's relentless pressure on the ground could be difficult to withstand. According to Strickland, the key to success for Du Plessis is going to be his ability to escape from those positions and regain control. If he can avoid being trapped on the ground, he has the striking power to hurt Chimaev.
So I sparred, I fought Dricus, I fought Dricus, I fought... Dricus has better stand-up than Chimaev, but Chimaev has a pretty crazy grappling. Now, I've been training with these daggy terrorists my entire life. So it's like I train with these fuckers. I know how to get up from these guys. I can withstand the storm. I don't know if he's encountered that level of wrestling to where it might get him a little off guard. But if he could handle it, get up and work his way up. It's kind of hard because it was a long time ago, but Brad took him down and held him down. But Brad took him down and held him down. So it's like, he just really has to be ready for an extreme amount of pressure on the ground. And if he can withstand that, he's on speed.
So were you not impressed with his striking when he came here?
No, he's just kind of, again, he's like a soft man. Like, you take someone like Dricus. Dricus, that man doesn't give a fuck, dude. Chimaev, he's just not Chimaev wins off being a bad guy. I'm a bad, tough, scary terrorist, where it's and if you look at everybody who's fought, that pulls this card, I'm all right, go. Shit starts changing. So I think he's just some kind of a bully. Nothing wrong with being a bully, man. It's a fighting. Be a bully. But it's if you're going to be a bully and someone fights back, you better keep that same energy up.
In fact, some experts are even predicting an upset, with UFC middleweight contender Anthony Fluffy Hernandez suggesting that Du Plessis could be the one to surprise the world. Hernandez, who has been on an impressive 7-fight win streak, sees Du Plessis' size, awkwardness, and relentless forward pressure as key advantages. He pointed out that Chimaev has shown signs of fatigue when facing smaller fighters, and Du Plessis' conditioning and size could give him an edge in later rounds. If Du Plessis can impose his will early on and avoid being overwhelmed by Chimaev's wrestling, there's a strong chance he could retain his title and even finish Chimaev in the later rounds.
And watch the title fight play out between DDP and Khamzat Chimaev. Who do you think wins that fight, by the way?
I think DDP is going to surprise the world, man. He's awkward. He comes forward. He doesn't get tired. Khamzat gets tired with small guys that were 155ers, you know what I mean, that went up to 170. So I'm still not really sold on him. I know he's good. I know Robert Whittaker, but like I said, the old is very one-dimensional. They only have one tool. If you can get them to the floor, it usually seems that they have a bad night. And that's just the honest truth of how I've seen it play out.
Another intriguing prediction comes from Gerald Meerschaert, who faced Chimaev back in 2020 and was taken down in just 17 seconds. Despite his quick defeat, Meerschaert backed Du Plessis to win the fight, giving him a 60 to 70% chance to retain the title. Meerschaert believes that Du Plessis' physicality and movement will create problems for Chimaev, especially if the fight doesn't go to the ground. The key, according to Meerschaert, will be Du Plessis' ability to avoid being smothered by Chimaev's grappling and keep the fight standing long enough to land significant shots.
Prediction, I honestly think is going to be Dricus. Now, that being said, I always say, I look at things like percentages. I'm not going to be shocked if Khamzat wins. You know what I'm saying? But if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say 60-70% Dricus, just because I don't know. I think he's going to be too big and too physical for Khamzat to like catch in those first couple rounds. Now, that being said, again, I'm not trying to be a hater or anything, but like if he does, that's, you know, freaking amazing, and that's nuts, and like that's awesome. More power to him. But just personally, I think Dricus will, you know, I think his movement, his unique fighting style is gonna give Khamzat problems in that sense, and he's gonna charge in and be like, oh my god, this guy's kind of huge, and that might kind of deter him from maybe putting as much pressure on him at first as he normally would. So, and we'll see too, because you know, this is going to be like the first championship fight that we've seen from Khamzat, and I don't know if he had any other ones in like lower promotions, but that's always been the thing on him, right? Is like he's, you know, he comes at you like a bat out of hell for the first round and a half, 2 rounds, and then kind of fades away. So we'll see if it goes longer and goes into championship rounds, we'll get a better idea of like if that's just you know, unfounded claim on all our parts, or if there's something to that.
One of the most compelling parts of the UFC 319 showdown is that both men are unpredictable. While Chimaev has made a career out of crushing his opponents with relentless pressure, Du Plessis has built his reputation on knocking out opponents who are often considered more skilled or experienced. Du Plessis' approach to the fight is simple yet bold. He's coming to kill, not to play defense. Whether or not he succeeds in this quest to end Chimaev's undefeated streak remains to be seen, but what's certain is that UFC 319 will be one of the most highly anticipated events in recent history. In the end, UFC 319 isn't just about 2 fighters clashing for a title, it's a clash of ideologies. Du Plessis is ready to throw the first punch, chase down the takedowns, and turn the ground game into his own weapon. Chimaev, on the other hand, will be looking to impose his wrestling dominance and suffocate Du Plessis' aggressive offense. The result? It's anyone's guess, but one thing is for sure, the fans are in for a thrilling ride.